Hello.
Hey, what's up, man?
You are, man. You're up. You were up next, and you're on. You're on
What's
the
happening?
air, taking
What's happening,
calls.
Dead TV?
All kinds of stuff. Everything's going on, evidently.
Yep.
I like it. You're all professional.
I know. I put a tie on today to make people think I'm a professional.
No, it'd be totally funny if you called in all these.
Yeah. Look at that knot.
I know, man. You'll be hanging from it. Um, no, what's funny? It would be cool if you were the only actual caller, and like sometimes you were wearing you were like, this is Billy Bob calling from a trailer park in Tennessee, and you were wearing your wife beater T-shirt, eating breakfast and Cheerios, calling in, and then now you're like, oh, yeah, I'm calling from what,
I'm wearing a wife. I think still wearing a wife beater today.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, you just change your shirt, you're like, then you're like the hippie guy, but it's just your T-shirt changing. It'd be so funny. It's like, what's the mood on the street? You're like, I'm at Burning Man Festival, and the crowd is going nuts. There's been a giant dressed as a little girl. He's been here all day.
I could cut my hair. Maybe I'll shave my head on Dead TV. How about
No,
that?
not
That
now.
would be cool. No, not now.
Yeah.
Some other time.
What's on your mind?
So, hey, I was going to ask you, what program do you use to download YouTube channels? I don't know if you want to answer that here.
Nothing now. Firefox got killed, but there's a couple of them. The plugins. I'm not sure on the status now of that stuff.
Right.
They're playing a really good game for a while. Like YouTube would change the code, then they just changed YouTube again, and then everything went haywire. But there was like best YouTube downloader and YouTube.
Right.
Another one called YouTubed.
Right.
BY YouTubed or something.
Mm-hmm.
But I would look on Firefox for the plugins.
What else is going on? I don't know. What's happening in the world out there?
Well, I guess the the Asia Defense Pact of China, of the big three, Japan, India, and America are meeting, and then we're meeting with China today about that stuff. I'm waiting for the news because maybe it's that they're meeting tomorrow today. The time difference. I don't know.
What was that thing you put up about genetic weapons? That's scary.
Clinton just
people are already been doing that.
Yeah. I'm gonna tell you a prediction. Maybe I shouldn't tell this one. It's too heavy.
Well, I'll tell you something. A couple of years ago, I saw a buddy of mine. He's a geneticist at Harvard, and he went to a symposium, and he said one of the topics of the symposium was eugenics, and there was people talking about the creation of like airborne like Ebola viruses,
sure,
and how that could be used for population control, and they were apparently talking from the kind of viewpoint that would be a very bad thing, but the concern is that there's people that are doing that, and that's pretty frightening actually. If if people all of a sudden their eyes start bleeding and stuff.
You know what they announced? They announced yesterday they've got a shot. They got a vaccine against Ebola.
Well, I suppose they could do that,
Well, they just announced it yesterday, last night before I went to bed, late at night, like 2 o'clock in the morning. I read they announced it.
Huh.
But that's not the issue. Like what people don't understand.
They could have taken those.
What people don't understand. What people don't understand is like African Americans have a different gene than Africans, right? See, like people from. Are you there? People from Africa. Right. People from Africa don't have the Neanderthal gene. And then the contact.
Right. There's been talk like that. The Israelis have apparently tried to make genetic weapons that would selectively, attack people of Arab descent.
You know what, though? There's like, don't just single out those guys, okay?
Right.
You know what I mean?
I'm having problems with the computer here. I don't know
Yeah, I'm
what's
just saying don't single out the
my dead
Israelis.
TV's not working.
Yeah.
Oh no, but I mean that's been, they've really looked into that. That's not a secret, But yeah, you could get rid of whole continents of people.
Well, the thing that
Yes, not good.
the thing that I saw in my head was we will probably see a day.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say. I really don't want to say almost. But if
Well,
you look,
think there's going to be just a big epidemic or something?
I really don't want to say. I saw some fucked up shit,
That's
though.
cool.
I saw some fucked up shit. I even wrote it all down in a letter and sent it to my manager. I saw some really fucked up shit going down. I was just like, oh my god. I really don't like this. Of course, I had to take a vacation in a hospital around the same time, so let's put that all into perspective.
When was it? Last year?
Yeah. But I'll be damned if so much of what I was talking about was
What was wrong?
Well, I took a lot of the information that I had and what I know was going on. And then since then that I verified that there was no way that I could have known that I knew, but I did know. Like, so much of it. It's not even... Do you know what I mean? And it was like... Just the concept of me wanting to share that with people was craziness in and of itself. Do you know what I mean? Just like wanting to talk about it.
I guess. I'm not sure I don't talk about it, but...
Well, if you really know some crazy shit is going down, you know what I mean? If you really know...
I mean, definitely.
If you're really an analyst to some degree and you go, this is fucking insane, we've reached this point right here, I can see what's going on, and then you want to share that information, your sanity, then you need to be checked out sometimes. You know what I'm talking about? A little bit?
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely. I ended up not recently, but many years ago, I had to spend some time in a hospital because I was hearing things.
Exactly. Whether they're real or not. Whether they're real or not.
My thing is, you're wise not sharing this with people, because I think it's like when you start telling people these things, it sort of gives that power.
Besides that, though, you know what's really weird? You know what's really weird, too, sometimes? It's like certain types of information, it's like, what are people going to do with that information? There's like so many things related to certain subjects that it's just like, there's nothing that they can even do with that information. They have no way to process it.
Right, you're just going to spread panic. Right.
It's going to spin the wheels inside their mind. Sometimes it's best not to know things or to say things. And I was like really cool about that with some of the... There was like, last year there was a communication breakdown big time between the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere while the shit was hitting the fan. And I still remember a lot of shit that was happening that it never made the newspapers internationally.
Right.
See what I'm saying? So that would have been highly irresponsible.
Yeah.
I was really careful when I was talking to people overseas. I was like, what do you know? When we were doing this show, I was like, what do you know about what's going on? I kept asking them. And I was only talking about shit that they could possibly even hint at. And people didn't know. And I wasn't going to say it. And the weird thing is, like, conspiracy sites, man, they didn't even pick up on any of it. And I doubt it was because they were, like, thinking in my mindset, like, you can't say this. Like, it's not appropriate for you to... It's equivalent of yelling fire in a theater or worse. I was like, you can't even comment on this. So it, like, freaked me out so much of my friends that work with me. They're just like, dude, you need to take a trip and chill out for a couple months.
Take some time.
Whether you want to or not.
Hey, wait, hold on 1 second.
Yeah.
Hey, Anna? Anna? Vanessa, I'll be right with her. Hey, guys, I gotta take off.
No
I gotta
problem. That
see
was a great
somebody.
call,
But,
man. That was the greatest little.
stay positive. We're enjoying the music today. It's good show.
Cool.
Everybody's enjoying the music, and you
Cool.
guys have a good.
Cool.
Right.
Thanks for helping me be
Have
really.
a good one, later.
Yeah. Thanks for helping me be like the most. What do you call that? I wanted to say not ambivalent. It's when you're beating around the bush. You don't remember? Hey, not cryptic. Yeah, exactly. Anyways, if you want to know about ambiguous, yeah, exactly. It's like how much ambiguity. Thank you for helping me be as ambiguous as possible, but I guess a few people know exactly what I was talking about. Anyway, if you want to see something interesting, Astro, about what's going on, if you've got a clear sky, and you can look in the 4 directions, and you see that little fingernail moon, and you want to look at Venus, and you want to check it out twice a day, you're going to recognize a flag, and you're going to know it's time. And the reason they put that shit on a flag is because they knew too. Let's see if I can get this to work. It should, in theory, it should be working. Maybe I rebooted. Let me get the. There we go. Maybe this works now. Yeah, definitely.
All right.
There we go. Sorry about that. I didn't realize it wasn't hooked up when I hit the button. All right, we're all good to go.
That's okay. I'm on my lunch break now, so I figured that the dead TV phone call went out, so I figured I'd call.
Cool.
I like that last song, man. That was cool.
I'm a weirdo. We're weirdos, kind of. Try and mix it up a little bit today.
I'm completely normal. I don't know about the rest of you, but
You seem kind of well adjusted.
I am. I'm all right, sort of. You have to ask my wife about that.
Are you a chiropractor?
I have my moments.
Are you a chiropractor?
I'm the chiropractor, yes.
Well, don't you think it's funny that I just...
Show you now.
I know, but wait a second. Don't you think it's funny that I just said you were well adjusted? You're a chiropractor. Duh.
Oh, I didn't get that. That was chiropractic humor right there.
Yeah, exactly.
That's good. That's real good.
Pardon the puns. Fun with puns.
That's a good one. I'll have to use that with my chiropractor friends.
Yeah, exactly. Boy, I was just looking at the market.
Yeah, so do you eat? You doing these shows?
I should. You know, I was just thinking today I need to start eating.
Yeah, don't forget you got to eat. And if you have any kind of eating's really important. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, I was thinking I need to start with.
I have to keep it down. I can't wait, baby. I'm gonna walk over here now.
I was thinking that I need to start with the granolas, with the granola again and the yogurt, like I used to every day.
It's important to eat, especially if you have any kind of depression or people have like mental instability.
Yeah.
Not eating is really bad because it changes neurotransmitters and just make sure fruits and vegetables are really good, right? Complex carbohydrates. Stay away from a lot of red meat.
What do you mean, like?
It's all good advice.
You mean like organic dried dates and apricots? Just snack on those all day?
That's if you can eat dried fruit all day, man. I can't eat dried fruit all day.
I can.
But the diet, the food you eat, it changes neurotransmitters, and so like red meat tends to boost dopamine levels, and it creates high dopamine states, and that when dopamine's high in your nervous system, serotonin gets depressed, and so high dopamine states tend to aggravate things like depression or pain.
Yeah.
And it's important.
I'm
if
like,
you have you had mentioned where you felt like the stuff that you were thinking about. Don't aggravate that by the things you eat.
Right.
That definitely happens.
Do you think that was Moses' problem when he came down from the mountain and he saw everybody worshiping the golden calf? That maybe he was like, he didn't have the proper nutrition, so he just lost his. Yeah, so he just broke the fucking commandments. He's like, fucking shit.
Hey, it happened to my sister. She ended up getting put in a hospital for 2 weeks because she hadn't been eating. And, protein deprivation, it causes hallucinations and, it causes serious problems. And, people that are vegans and they're not eating right, they're not eating the right foods, they can create, mental distress, definitely.
Some crazy earth first.
It happens.
Some crazy earth first fucking lesbian chick attacking your bulldozer.
Right. Yeah, not quite my sister so much, but sort of.
It takes all kinds, right? Wow, look at that, man. Everybody's shape-shifting today. Oh, that's beautiful. I thought my neurotransmitters were going on.
It's raining here.
It's raining here. It's raining all over the world. Okay.
That's my town right there.
Right on.
There we are.
Very cool. Raining all over the world.
Yeah, it's cool. I like the music you've been playing today, man. It's some good stuff. I like that kind of funky guitar stuff with some cool stuff.
Yeah, we're gonna get weirder here in a second, even maybe.
I got a big gig this weekend up in a town out in Western Mass. We're all pretty psyched
Plug
about
it.
Wendell. It's like the big hippie town.
What town? Wendell?
So I'm looking forward.
Is it called Wendell?
Wendell. Yeah.
All right. Where?
It's in the middle of nowhere.
I mean,
people that live around here don't even know where it is. It's out in just the middle of nowhere.
Cool. I bet you the NSA knows now.
Should be fun.
They're going to pick you up on one of those black...
Oh, yeah. Well, the NSA has a big listening station up in New Boston, New Hampshire. And if you look online...
I guess you don't want to look online. I hate when that happens. Now everybody dig this. No calls. Damn. That's strange. I guess we scared everybody away. Maybe they zonked our Skype. Holy moly, here he is. Hello.
Hey, what's up, man?
Hi, LeBrain. Hello,
Let's talk
LeBrain.
about normal stuff now.
Wow, that was weird.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
I don't know, you said something about the NSA's secret listening base in the Boston area.
Yeah, I'm not going to talk about any of that anymore.
Good. I know what you're gonna say. You're gonna say they're working so hard. You were gonna go out there and offer to adjust them all for half price.
Right. Yeah, right.
Anybody with a level 3 security clearance gets a discount.
Right. Well, Lincoln Labs is down the road from you. There's all sorts of people like that around here.
MIT.
I actually knew a lady who she had worked for the NSA for years.
Yeah.
When after, like maybe a year or two after 9/11, she quit. And she could speak like 20 languages or something. She was really smart.
Yeah.
She quit the NSA and, she had top security clearance and she really couldn't tell you anything. But all that she told me was she said, you wouldn't believe what your country's doing right now.
A lot of people have said
that. Pretty much.
Yeah, a lot of people have said that.
I'm not really sure what it is, but it was enough for her to quit her job.
Porter Goss walked out with 400 people. He was the boss.
Who did?
Porter Goss.
Oh yeah, sure.
He just walked.
Oh, was he the guy that? Was he the guy that let loose all that information about who spies were?
No. Porter Goss was the head of the CIA.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
He walked.
He did what?
He walked with like 400. His whole crew, 400 people walked.
Oh, they quit. That's well. That was around. Was that probably the same
time? Same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was saying, it's just a lot of spying on the population.
Well.
Oh, good.
Yeah. There was a lot of things that rubbed people the wrong way. A lot of people were rubbed the wrong way with all that. But then, like, what do you do at the end of the day? See, the way they broke it down to me, they're like, well, who do you want to win, motherfucker? You can't really argue with that.
Win what? I mean, as far as, like, the terrorists or
the thing.
What are you talking about?
The big picture. The absolute end-all, be-all was the argument that came right back at me. I was like, well, who do you want to win?
Right.
That was like a conversation.
We want to win.
Well, it was a conversation. I don't even know who we is, right? At that point, it's above my head.
Right.
I'm like, wow.
Right.
But it was a conversation. It was one of those conversation killers. In the conversation I was having with the people that I was having it with, I was just like, I've got no answer for that one. You just basically checkmated me.
I just want to be happy.
Yeah, me too, but that's like the argument that goes. But then if you apply all the trickle-down theory to happiness, man, a lot of times like the idealism and the jingoism and all that other stuff that people talk about, they're talking about a bygone era.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like the pursuit of happiness and stuff is hundreds, that whole argument of the framers of the Constitution that's hundreds of years.
I'm not talking about pursuing happiness. Yeah. I'm talking about being happy.
Yeah, that's the main argument. We just want people to shop, I guess.
Right. It's a mistake to equate financial gain with happiness and happiness. It's not necessarily. I don't think it's the same. Someone else might think that.
I just glanced. After our phone call, I glanced at the news, and Cameron's demanding more financial corporate freedom from the City of London against the euro and everything else. He's leaving the new treaty. He's like saying they want to deregulate all of it at the very end. They're like, no, we want to be able to do anything, is what Cameron's saying right now. That's what the U.S. and Geithner and London, the City of London and Wall Street are saying. No, we want to be able to do anything right now.
Right.
Else you guys are over.
Yeah, it's bad. Hey, have you ever read that book, The Creature from Jekyll Island?
No, but I know Bob Chapman stuff.
Yeah, it's a good book. It's
Everybody says
interesting.
so.
It's written. It was written before a lot of this happened.
No,
And,
I know.
I'm rereading it, and it's like a lot of the stuff. It's all predicted. Like they knew.
I thought he always says
they
that
knew
he
all
was an
this was going to
analyst.
happen.
I always thought that he was one of the older analyst guys.
Yeah, he was trained. But
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
But you know what though? See, people on a certain level, they don't ever quit, so it's hard to say like, like it's hard to say sometimes when these guys are talking about some of this stuff that circles around the libertarians all talking and all that stuff, some of these former analysts and stuff. Whoa, there you go. What I was going to say to finish my thought out there, people, and maybe he'll call back, was, like on a certain level, if you get to a certain level, you never really quit, even if you retire. So, okay, I'll repeat.
I'm not sure what's happening with my connection. I just kind of moved my computer.
Oh, that's
Can
okay.
you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait to see if we get video back.
Yeah, this is much from that.
Okay, what I wanted to... Oh, man, I got these echoes. What are we going to do about that?
I don't know. Oh, let me turn this down.
Yeah, there you
go.
go. Yeah, I can hear you.
All right.
We got a crazy echo on this one. I'll just mute you. I'll just mute you like this for a second while I'm going to say this one thing, and then I'll open it up so you can talk. What I wanted to say was, on a certain level, security level, you're working for the thingy-wingy. Even if you retire, you're never really off work. If you know any secrets or any of that kind of stuff, it's like you're working forever. Once you're in, it's like the Hells Angels or something. You never get out of that shit. Well, we got feedback. I guess I lost you.
No, I can hear you, man. Can you hear me?
Yeah. All right.
I'm just not talking. I'm being quiet. I'm listening to you.
Well, I'm just saying, like, sometimes part of what that guy's up to could be misinformation, but I don't know. See,
sure.
He's a gold trader, too.
Oh, right. Yeah, I know. I don't know. I've read a lot of stuff about the Federal Reserve, and I think that book seems pretty accurate. It's very it could be. Everything's propaganda, so it's not. I don't think it's necessarily wrong information. I just think it's
You get to be you're the voice of the bear right now because your video isn't coming through.
Cool.
Yeah, it's funny. I don't mind talking to the bear. I'll just turn this way and look at you. Turn like this. Hi, bear. Yeah, you look really intelligent, the chat room says. Highly intelligent bear.
Good.
The strong but silent type.
Right.
Yeah, well, a lot of these guys for years and years have been talking about a lot of this stuff happening, and here we are.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, they back when these guys, the bankers first met for the Federal Reserve. What's happening now was planned 100 years ago.
Sure,
they knew it was going to happen, and it's a way of just removing wealth from people and taking people's wealth, nations' wealth, individuals' wealth. That's all it is.
Yeah,
it's a transfer of property. People's lost their property. Corporations lost their property, and they knew that's why they did it. It's not. This isn't a mistake. They did this on purpose.
Yeah, I know. The thing that gets me is like the thingy wingy adjusts so fast. Even though a lot of the plans are so long term, the minor adjustments. That's the cool thing about having long term plans. Is that you can make those tiny little tweaks to it. Occasionally, it gets really, really hubris. It's like the execution of some of the stuff is really awkward to watch and needless. And I see we're at one of those points again.
Oh yeah, this is all just a big show. What they're doing, yeah, sure, it's. what they want everyone to think it's all real serious, and then the white savior comes in on the white horse and
there you go,
fixes everything, and meanwhile, hundreds of millions of people had their property taken away from them.
Yeah, but the kind of stuff that even Hillary Clinton was bringing up today are who cares about your fucking property, man? We're talking about death. Huh.
Oh yeah, well that stuff's real frightening, man. Yeah.
So
they've been talking about that for years. So those eugenics people have been, population control. That's not new either, and they've been talking about that for a long, long time.
Yeah.
That's the reality now, is that they can make viruses that could wipe out 99% of the population.
Have made.
Yeah, right. I mean,
they just said the guys in fucking Netherlands just said to the scientific community on the genetics conference last week, we're like, we figured out how to make the bird pig virus combo into like the most contagious thing, so everybody gets it. And we want to publish our fucking releases right now. And everybody's like, what the fuck? Why? First of all, why are you fucking with this deadly thing that if you get it, kills 90% of the people? That we were lucky last time it came around. You've just fucked with it to make it so it's 90% that you will catch it, and then 90% of the people that catch it will die. It's like, and then they want to publish the paper to the world, like, oh, yeah, we want to show everybody that
how to do it. Yeah.
So that's what they're talking about, is like, but what those guys are hackers. They're using the same kind of mentality as some of these hackers. Like, there was a whole wing of the anonymous guys in Germany here, the Chaos Computer Club, where they were like, we're gonna hack this fucking website and show you that everything can be hacked until you change this, because this is a gateway into everybody's computer and everybody's everything. Or this is the government. Oh, we're gonna say that the government installed this program to like do all the keyword recording in Germany, and you could do all these different things. And this Chaos Computer Club over here in Germany is just like, we're going to release this information exactly how to do this until you change the program that you're using, government, because this one, we want you to know this one has the most potential for abuse even by enemies of the state. So you need to come up with a better plan. Like the guys that wrote this computer hacker program for your spies to use left the door open for everybody.
Sure.
So
it's like that movie War Games.
Well, the problem with some of these people and their arrogance is like the suspects, like that one, what they're talking about. Then this, I think, can also be like this weird doublespeak. They're talking about how just copying, when they capture a piece of that virus, that they can just remodify it for everything else. They're saying,
right? Yeah,
like any side, like the victim.
Send it to the electrical grid of the U.S.
Well, they keep saying that, but you know what? They told everybody that the Russians hacked a power station in fucking bumfuck Illinois, and you know what the fact was? The guy who was in control of that systems testing was working from home and fried it out, like his own meddling with it. But they told everybody in the world that the Russians were hacking someplace in podunk nowhere.
Right.
It was just such bullshit because they're like, oh, they're testing, it was like so weird, but it came out. The minute that they said that, I was like, dude, government hackers from Russia did not do this, because first of all, they're not going to show their hand that way.
Right.
They're not going to go like, we can do all this shit. They don't need to fucking test it. They can test it on their own shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? They could just buy that fucking water pump.
Yeah, and why hack some small power grid?
Why show that you're doing it until you do it? Like the U.S., when the U.S. and Israel, the powers that be, hacked into the Siemens, the uranium centrifuges, man. You know what? When they showed that they could do that complex specific that traveled all the way through into a secure system, like they infected everybody in the world's computer until they got to the one guy's fucking flip drive. Once it hit that guy's little pocket drive, he didn't even know it was in there until whenever he plugged it into the system, even if it had nothing on it.
Right.
If he just took his like porno picture that he just takes to work, or it could have been anything, right? It was just like too late. It passed the secure barrier because those things weren't connected to fucking Facebook. You know what I mean? This was a secure system, just like the missile system and stuff that have failed in the drone system, that they've noticed this virus that won't get out of it. Every time they erase it, it keeps coming back. That one that they announced. in the,
Right.
you know. So
Yeah.
anyway, these are like the serious ones. These salvos of the new war they've been happening. So what everybody's waiting for, this stuff, the shit that I've been talking about since last year, this stuff is fully going on.
Right.
It's just the new
Yeah, I
way.
remember when you were talking about, you were saying there's a war out there, you don't understand there's already a war. I didn't quite grasp what you were saying.
Yeah.
Maybe a couple of weeks I sort of appreciated that.
Mm.
It's like we're having a war with, it's not a conventional war anymore. It's a different kind of war. But
No, it is a conventional war too. That's the wild thing. Like when you pull up on a motorcycle and stick plastic explosives on the top scientist's fucking Mercedes and blow him and his wife through the wall of the car, what do you fucking call that?
Right, but it's not like boots on the ground type of stuff.
They're gonna fucking waste those guys because everybody's ships. You don't even know where they're at. You know, everybody's ships. It's like even if fucking Brazil tries to send a thing full of corn to Iran, they hijack that fucker. All of a sudden, these black guys in a canoe pull up with an outboard motor, and they're like, "Oh, these Somalians, what are they doing? Why are there 15 giant carriers and navies and destroyers and frigates off of a place with these skinny little Somalians with AK-47? Why do you think they're all there right now? Is it because these pirates that we can't stop with 1,000 million submarines and Black Hawk helicopters? Like we can't stop a pirate boat? No, that gives the excuse for your navy to be there. And all the navies in the world, there's like, what the fuck is India's navy doing sitting right there? Oh yeah, they want to make sure nobody gets that fishing boat. Bullshit, man. They got every single Suez Canal, every single thing, man. It's like, right, if you want to go take a trip to the Mediterranean, go to Crete right now, go swimming and see how many giant battleships of every different country, they're all just parked right there off of Syria.
Yeah, it's like that article you posted about China wanting to escalate its naval presence.
They're doing it.
Yeah, right. They got those stealth aircraft carriers.
Beyond that, they just parked like all these giant cruisers right off of Okinawa. They've got the fucking biggest ships you've ever even seen with like missile frigates right off our biggest base. They are parked right off the ocean in international water off Okinawa base, the biggest Air Force base. They've got that carrier is right there going, Right. To the point where we're having a meeting about it tonight and tomorrow.
Well, I mean, that could all just be that propaganda because the defense industries, it's huge for the economy, and it's that, people, that's their jobs to make those things. And so, it could all just be, it's not necessarily a march for war.
No. Each one of we got like 7, I forget how many carrier groups. I don't even want to give out the numbers, but it's all public information. You can do Google right now. Each one of those carrier attack groups can start a whole world war by itself and keep there until the supply lines come to it.
Right.
I mean, it's subs, it's everything, right?
Right.
We got 2 of those right off of Iran. We got another one right off of Syria right now. Each one of those is prepared for World War III. One of those groups can take on Russia and hold down the fort until the supply lines get to it. Each one of those. We got like 5 of them. We got 5 of them with each. We got 5 of them with attack range of all these places that we're talking about. And Asia Pacific.
Well, I think that, we're definitely going to bomb Iran soon. I don't think that...
We're already bombing them.
Right, but I think that there's going to be, there'll be a whole concerted effort with the, NATO and everything.
Well, one of these other players in the game, like not to disturb everybody, one of the other players in the game has to make their move. Like the Hezbollah saying we're suited up and ready to go. We've got replacements and all that shit, and... The Syrians are going to lash out, perhaps, but, Assad just went on TV, American TV, last night, I guess, and he said, I'm not in control of the army.
Right, I read that. Yep. That's not good.
Well, you know what? He's probably telling the truth. You know who's in control of his army right now?
Who? The Iranians?
Russia. They have a fucking giant military base in Syria. They've had it since the 50s. They're the ones that are in control of his army right now. Because they're like, dude, we're not even going to let you fucking lash out at Israel or make this move because we're the ones that are going to get in a shooting war. Because it's our Navy right there. So obviously what he was saying. So in America, they're going to tell you that, he's trying to say that he's not guilty of war crimes. He was just telling the truth. He's like, I'm not in control of my military right now. See, that's a message he was just giving.
Right. Yeah,
but if you're not an analyst or you're not in the job of propaganda, you're not going to know that because it's just obvious what he's saying. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. and Iran with all their advisors and all the missile technicians besides the Russians there. It's obvious that he's not in control of his military.
So, I mean, how do you think that this is going to happen? What sort of time frame are you looking at?
I think it's already happening. I think the most logical thing, like, see, every day that Syria stalls on the other thing, which they already solved, like the best guess of like the Russian Proxy Norwegian Institute type guys who have consistently been against Western powers, and Peace Institute guy, I forget his name, who won the Nobel Prize from Norway. He said, man, the only way out of this right now, on RT News, he said the only way out of this right now for the Syria part is to have 1,000 monitors on the ground in Syria right now from all over the world. Just in every single town, by every military base, have a dude with an attachment international, like one Russian guy, one dude, one American guy, and right on the ground, international, UN style. France is saying we want a corridor for military weapons and a no-fly zone over the whole thing. Because, you know, there's an army in Turkey that they're saying is just like defectors on all sides, even in Lebanon, saying that they're defectors of Syria. And France and America are meeting with, you know, the Syrian opposition. These guys, you know, that are from London institutes, right? So we're already talking to those guys and going, we're not even dealing with this guy because he's not playing ball, and it's too late for that. So then Israel's moving all their weapons around, all their missiles around. Iran's moving all their missiles around nonstop. They're like going both sides right there, which is an indication, you know, that they're moving them for a reason.
Right.
Both sides.
So you think
it's for two different reasons. It's for
elections, the U.S. elections. There'll be a big skirmish, and when do you think it's going to happen?
See, it doesn't even matter about the whole Barack Obama or whatever being elected or being not elected again. It doesn't even matter. See, that's like a complete red herring issue.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think that the tone that America would like to take in a certain way probably would the powers that be, they would like to have somebody that seemed like they were being the voice of reason or whatever, like a little bit less cowboy, but then have their actions be cowboy. See what I'm saying? I think that they would like that rather than have somebody really hawkish. Because then it puts everything, the way they just swapped the CIA, the security apparatus, and the military apparatus, the way the whole leadership transition just occurred, I think that they would like... Do you know what I'm saying? Because what Barack's government's got going is it's 100% finance. It's a financial consideration. That's his whole government. And then they swapped the security guy, who was he was like a Congress guy, right? Mm-hmm. So they made him from defense. They switched him over from CIA. They switched from Congress to the CIA, right?
Right.
So then right over to Secretary of Defense, and they had the military guy run the CIA. So they don't need either one of those things, like as the public face of it right now for policy, because now it's gonna the way they've got it set up, it's gonna be like a reactionary thing. See, because sooner or later, like Iran, there's two ways it can go in these governments right now, including from what Russia's saying and with Gorbachev chiming in. Now they're trying to do the flash mob protest thing in Russia, and they're going to make Putin look bad because he's going to have to put down this public dissent or handle this with kid gloves. Meanwhile, they got Gorbachev going, this election was a sham, it's obvious, and we need to hold the Duma, the Congress, the parliament of Russia. We need those elections again. And even with a 49% turn, 48% victory of the party with a form of coalition to actually have pass draconian measures or whatever, military or whatever. They're saying that, Gorby's saying, No, you need to. The only way we have any legitimacy right now is if you guys just hold this election again right in front of everybody. But that's stupid. That's like, it's like you almost want. See, I'm gonna seem like I'm a traitor or something, but I'm just calling it the way I see it. Okay. I don't have a horse in the race, but it's like at a time like this, you really actually want somebody who's an absolute guy.
Like Putin.
Absolutely, who can say yes or no to World War III at any second.
Right.
You don't want people voting, people that have other interests, whatever, manipulated traitors or crazy people. See what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah,
okay. So I'm just saying the way I see it. I'm not saying it's a good or a bad thing because we're dealing with greatness right now, neither good nor bad.
Mm-hmm.
But it looked to me like last year when the shit hit the fan, that to me, that the most fortunate thing that happened on the whole earth is what that guy was just fucking pulling the strings from behind the curtain, because the way that Russia handled that shit, not what they manipulated before that or what they didn't do or what they did or they didn't do before it got to that point of last year exactly this time. To me, it looked like they were able to put the brakes on the whole fucking craziness with China for a year at least. It looked like to me. That's my honest analysis of it. I was just like, wow, see, that's exactly what you want from a person in power. Is you don't want this argument. You don't want any question. No argument even. It's just all of a sudden it just happens. Things happen. Now the other thing with Medef and these guys going, oh, we're just going to target all your missiles. You have to just listen to what they're saying about, like, the missile shield should be for everybody or whatever. But now it's turned into this other thing. But let's just ignore all that stuff for a minute then. You know what I mean? Let's just ignore the whole arguments with Russia and everything that's going on and see, because since I already said this, I'm gonna say it again. And it doesn't matter if Russians are watching our NSA or whoever's watching me say this. I think Russia's playing a really good game. See, it doesn't matter if China's listening to me say this right now. See, it could even work in disinformation. But my honest opinion is Russia's got China tricked and China's fucked right now, and China needs to. We're going to see a transition into the one thingy-wingy, or we're going to see this fight, and then there's going to be a pause in the fight.
Right.
And it's going to be a fucking saddest thing you've ever even seen. This is like a once-in-a-lifetime situation to a new level.
Right.
This is the equivalent of this as being you living through what it was like being in the trenches of World War I, is what I'm looking at happening. That kind of fucking, every single person affected. Every single person on the planet.
It's kind of tied together. And, it's going to affect everybody. Definitely.
The financial system as it was is dead.
Right.
Now that you know that.
You have to come up with a new... the problem is coming up with a new system without, just destroying everything.
Well, now... because all this stuff is so serious, though, I just want you to be able to consider it as these events happen, what I've said. Mm-hmm. That's all. I
think you're right. You have, you're pretty, your analysis is pretty good.
Well, I've been looking at a lot of this stuff for a long time, and a lot of it I didn't understand. Like last year before I had to, got sick in the head a little bit. I couldn't understand some things that were going on. What it looked like to me, what the Mossad's little part of it was shocking a little bit to me. Their small part of it. Mm-hmm. And some of the stuff going on with America and what China was, like the level of escalation that it got to all in like 10 different places at once. Because I knew they were going to do like certain of these plans. I knew that they were in the works and that they were going down. But then it looked real hairy to me. Like, see, I thought it was pretty much worst case scenario right then. So that put me in overload mode. But it seemed like then they put the brakes on a lot of it. And a lot of information that I had access to just sort of disappeared. it dissipated into something else, which is really cool. I mean, it was kind of impressive to me to see that none of the like talking heads on the conspiracy or people, former analysts, or nobody was saying shit. Some of the stuff was really weird, like the communication breakdowns to me were a little bit disturbing, and that kind of stuff. And you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
A little bit part of my idealism dying and certain other aspects was kind of really. It was a lot to take in at a lot, you know, for me. But
Yeah.
but now,
I can see it.
as a lot of stuff is happening, I'm like, well, I don't reckon that it's going to have the same effect on me, because it was like part of it I can almost boil down to like me having a vision of the actual next year, but that isn't exactly the truth, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like even more than that. It's like, okay, so we'll see, you know. But the weird thing is like, because the narrative is a fairy tale in so many different levels, when you have a clash of like idealisms, you know, truth is the victim, really, and that it's tough to explain off a lot of this shit. You know, if people obviously think like it's just random who's going to be the next president or something, everybody gets together, we'll just see how the election goes or something. A lot of this shit doesn't make any sense. You know, you're like, holy shit, did you hear about what happened in the paper? Fuck, I don't know what's going on. You know, meanwhile, you know, there's like policy papers this big on it. And it's like, okay, you just didn't you chose not to know what was going on.
Right.
Kind of thing.
Yep. Yeah.
So with the 99%ers and all that shit, you know, my thing was like, well, look, you know, about protesting and whatever, you know, it's just like, look, you know, people have more than a reason to be outraged about this shit. I wasn't saying like go out in the streets and light bonfires or something.
Right.
But I'm more appealing to people's like sense of like, come on. Of course, man, if you've got the perspective of a Fox TV news presenter, then of course this is going to be the weirdest, stupidest shit. But none of it makes any sense.
Well, let's just, you know, we all try to stay positive and be nice to each other. And
see, it goes right back to the same old advice. Remember, I try and say that a lot without being a hippie. It's like,
right.
Keep it fucking simple, man.
Keep it simple.
Try to.
Right, because there's really nothing we can do to control anything. So it's...
Well, the weird thing that you'd be surprised, man, there's all kinds of fucking input that people have, man. They've been putting in the Daily Mail, the biggest like English website, tabloid, everything. Like, hell, you know, this is like an application to be a fucking hacker right here. Just break this code right here on this thing, and this time clock's going to be gone in 6 days. And like 50 people go, oh, this is the answer to what you just did. I mean, this works on all different levels.
Right. Yeah, I remember I actually tried to break that code. I couldn't do it.
I knew what it was, but I wasn't going to fucking let them know. Why
I
would I
spent
do
2
that?
hours with it. It was frustrating.
Ciphers. I don't want to be chained to a desk job. I'd rather help out in many different ways. Or something.
Right, we can do, you know, you can change the world by just in your daily interactions with people. You know, there's always been corruption and problems, and the people that have run the things have always done shitty things to the people who don't run things.
Well, now a lot of this stuff that was like, you know, last year I was just saying, I was like very public about something. It's like, if you cut off everybody's interwebs right now over this shit, you're going to cause some, you've got everybody so hooked, you're going to cause everybody, there's a way that you got to do this, man. You have to make it clear to everybody that that things need to be changed, but you can't just fucking cut them off like, say, it's emergency. When you got to remember that it's like, if you're not in the military, right? And
Right.
even if you are in the military, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want you to remember this, man. I can't think of any decision the government has to make in 24 hours. That's all just hype.
Right.
There ain't one thing. The military might.
Oh, they
You know,
always have to prepare and think about things.
there could be a missile or something go. You know what I mean? There's that kind of decision you'd have to make, but not like a real decision from a government standpoint of just like a government as a group of people, not a person in a position of responsibility. I'm saying like a government. There ain't nothing, not even a statement or an action that a government has to do in 24 hours that's going to
Right.
So that's weird. You know, people always forget that shit. They think that there is, you know.
Well, they think that the government responds to things quickly and has everything under control.
They can say the market, you know, we need to do this right now, like they're telling Germany, you need to do this right now. Germany could just suspend the market.
Right.
I mean, Wall Street, you know, they call trading all the time. They're just like, fuck this for 1 minute, a half hour, or whatever. Chill out for 1 second.
Take a breather.
You know what I mean? So there's like, but people always forget, but there ain't nothing that anybody's got to do. It's the military sometimes has to act or react very quickly.
Right.
Like the Germans, like, you know, Rommel and stuff, you know, his whole thing was like sometimes it's like his training and his philosophy of in that stuff, what he brought to the game that they study in America and all this stuff and in certain occupations and in that is like sometimes it's important to make any move. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Rather than just
do something.
Yeah, of course. Like especially in the Navy and stuff. Like sometimes it's important just to make a move, any move.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then the concept of yielding to overcome. You know, I'm doing that with the information too. Like a lot of times, I'll just like, well, I did it with my record. You know, just like pull back to move forward. It's a weird concept when people are thinking like, when it's got to be done now. There ain't nothing that has to be done right this second, except it's really important to be prepared. That's what I was saying to like a lot of people. In the euro more so even than the dollar, because the dollar's going to be there, right? Like even in a total financial, that just means they're going to lock down. Hackers could hit all the debit cards or whatever. That's still, man, you could probably hit your couch and still get dinner at Taco Bell or whatever.
Right, with the change in the cushions.
you know what I'm saying? So, but with the euro, you know, there are things that people could happen because it's multi-country in a class of people moving, or the freeze on the actual one currency thing, or a departure of the major players, the people with the AAA, over like pressure or whatever. There is a thing where it could be like, okay, for 24 hours your euros aren't good, or because it's food comes from the southern part where there's sun still, you know, and they're bringing it. There could be a lot of different issues, so it's important for me to have a couple days worth of food.
Yeah, right, definitely. Get a reverse osmosis filter too, in case.
You know what? I got to tell you, they got wells that have been here since the 1880s. You got to get your kid.
No, my wife's changing his diaper. We're gonna go out. He's gonna change his diaper, and we're gonna get some lunch.
Cool. What I'm saying is they've got wells on the street here, and the water is just perfect.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you drink from the wells?
No, but you can. They're all over, especially on the east side.
Like old pump wells, like pump
big
handles?
Fuckers from the 1880s. They were like each street has one. They're everywhere.
Huh.
So like
I have a well in my backyard, but it's all sealed up.
And all on the east side, most buildings have like coal or wood fire burners to heat it.
Right.
You know, and like my studio has this like big propane tank for the central heating. You know, the furnaces.
Right.
I'm fucking set.
That's cool.
Yeah.
When the end of the world comes, you'll be warm.
my building's like made, you know, by DDR guys with a concrete roof. So weird how they do that. They pour concrete, you know?
Yeah.
And this whole side of town was made to like, you could just light off an atomic bomb and it's not going to even burn, and they're just going to, because during that whole time with the DDR and the amount of bombing that happened, you know, back in the day in Berlin.
Right.
While that whole issue was going on, they wanted to keep their front up. So they built like all kinds of stuff here. Like, so even if there was a full-blown incident, you know, over the Iron Curtain back in the day, that their plan was just to come rolling up and pretend like, you know, like, oh, we're still here and this is our capital. Meanwhile, everybody be wasted all the way into France or whatever.
Right.
See, that was like their whole thing was like, no, we're just going to build all these towns like the Cindy Center, just like concrete bunkers, and just be like crawl right, kind of like the DMZ. Or do you know what I'm talking about?
Well, they build those kind of concrete buildings are.
No, but they did it on purpose. They did
it on purpose. Though.
Yeah, they were going to be like, okay, you want to get into like tactical nukes or whatever. Okay, you think like the battlefield is going to change and waste everybody, and watch, they'll just pop right back up and just be like still here, like in Berlin. Right. Like, what the fuck? We are still in charge of the Iron Curtain kind of thing.
Good planning, I guess, if you're going to have a nuclear war.
Yeah. But that's why they have all these concrete roofs and stuff. They're just like, fuck this. They're not going to rain ashes on us.
Right.
We'll just give everybody fucking iodine and
Yeah, I mean,
send
in a
them back
lot
to
of parts
work.
of the world too, they build all the houses out of concrete just because they just don't have the wood or the resources. And concrete is just real plentiful.
Russia's got mad forests for days.
Yeah, right. It's like that. When I lived down in South America, everything down there is concrete. There's no. Also, in a lot of parts, like in Ecuador, in the country, city of Guayaquil I lived in, the whole city like burnt down twice, like in its history, because it was so hot and they built everything out of wood. And so at one point, I think the UN came in and said, "You guys have to build buildings out of concrete so your city doesn't burn down anymore."
Exactly.
That's pretty. You know, your country's get problems if the UN comes in and tells you how to build your buildings.
Yeah. All right.
All right, man. Yeah, I think I gotta go to get some lunch. I'm hungry. I'm gonna get some guacamole.
Right on. We'll get back to music and stuff.
Looking forward to seeing what the future brings.
We'll keep in touch.
All right, man. Later.
Cheers. Whoa. Bye, bear. Just visiting with the doctor. Another doctor, right?